The Strider knives BNSS. SS standing for serrated spine. Specifically designed to cut polypropylene rope underwater. It's the original claim. These were just dropped on the Mixed Strider website last week. I was able to get one. I've been looking for one for years, essentially. Maybe not specifically this model, but just another full-size fixed blade. I don't really like the folding knives that much. I've had a lot of SMFs and SNGs over the years, but it's really just not my forte anymore. So you can see these are in CPM 154. This is kind of an American Tanto design. It's got that exaggerated grind. Supposedly designed by Cold Steel in the 80s. Came pretty sharp. It's got an extremely sharp tip, you can see there. I haven't measured it or anything, but it's probably about a 1/4 inch thick. And this is a wider design. A lot of their designs, or earlier designs, were pretty narrow, like the BT. I think one of their largest non-Tanto style designs is the MK1. That was what I actually originally was really searching for. But in reality, this is more of a wicked looking design. It's not so basic. It's a combat utility knife is what they say. I mean, theoretically, you could baton some wood with the that pretty wide tip end there, the flat spot. But I'd be afraid of getting the baton stuck on the very tip end and dulling that point off. Because as you can see right there, that is one heck of a tip. Super pokey. I like the width. I have a pretty large, just a large sized hand. Fits my hand perfectly. And I like the integrated lanyard into the cord wrap there. Most people don't know how to use a lanyard. If I wasn't holding the camera with my other hand, I would show it. It feels really good in the hand, very secure. Doesn't feel uncomfortable. And with the way they have it there on the pommel, you can keep creeping down if you were chopping and get quite a bit of extension if you're ever to do that. Close up on those polypropylene rope cutting teeth there. I haven't really seen if they're like ultra sharp or anything. they do come down to a pretty fine point. I don't know if they're like sharpened up, you know, or if you'd have to put those on a hone and put a little bit of an edge to them if you would actually need to use it for that. They look cool though. The primary cutting edge, the Tanto edge, is really sharp, and this here is the actual Tanto, the second edge here, is sharp, but it does come to a more obtuse point. So it's not going to have the same cutting performance as the primary edge, but it is sharp. It does cut phone book paper and whatnot. These are heat treated to about 59 to 60 Rockwell. That's what I was told. It's got that bee blasted tiger stripe finish. Got that flat spot towards the tip for strength and durability. Shooting this video on my new iPhone 15 Pro Max that I just received in the mail about an hour ago. Really wanted to do some sort of a little video on this knife. There is very few videos on this knife on YouTube. Lighting's kind of slipping away from me here. This is a CSM gear sheath. I don't know what CSM stands for. They're made in Texas. It's got a belt loop in there. I don't know how long of a molly clip you'd have to attach that to your pals on your vest. I've only got 3 rows of pals on my vest. So I don't know I'm not military. I don't know how they would do it if you were to do that. You can fit a full-size Leatherman charge in here. And it comes out, it just barely sticks out. So I mean, it's about perfect for that, really. It does add a lot of weight if you were to carry that on your leg, but that's a heck of a tool combination. If you had that knife and that big old charge, you'd have quite the setup. And it's a felt lined Kydex liner. And it does have pretty good retention, so the knife doesn't like wiggle around. It's totally silent. It doesn't shake. You can turn the knife upside down in here and it won't fall out, even without the snap closure. So I mean, it's a decent sheath. You know, there's a lot of really cheap knives out there that come with a sheath that looks a lot like this, but they don't perform that well. You know, the nylon falls apart and they rattle around in there like a Spec Ops sheath. They rattle around because it's more of a generalized sheath. But this is basically designed for this knife. It's got about a 6-inch total cutting edge, but the blade is like 7 1/4. if you count the Ricasso area there. It's one heck of a knife, though. It fits I'm so glad I got the BNSS rather than like a BT or something, or even the MK1, because the MK1's narrower and then it widens towards the back like an SMF, and I just don't think that'd be the best for actually handling it. Plus, it doesn't look as cool, you know, it doesn't have as much grinding to the blade. It's just a basic drop point, big ass fixed blade. I'm really happy with it. I'm gonna have this in about forever. Got any questions, just put them down in the comments. Maybe I'll get around to using it one of these days and get back out to the farm. It's so nice, and I only have the one, and they're super freaking rare. I mean, like I say, I waited a long time for the availability, and it was just complete chance that it was there. I mean, it's $550, $20 shipping, $570 total, but I mean, on eBay and that, they're already selling for over $1,000. Crazy. You know, that's just a pretty general steel, but they have one heck of a heat treatment there at Strider. You're not going to have your blade fail. It's going to perform like a steel of a higher quality. And 154 isn't junk. I mean, I've had a lot of knives in 154 and put hard use to them, and they're pretty good. They take a good edge and they don't rust, and it's good steel. At first I wasn't put off by it, but I was a little bit surprised that they did it in 154. I mean, it'd be cool if it did something neat like Magna Cut, but I've never even had a knife in that steel. I've had a couple of their knives in S30V. That was what they used for a long time. My first Strider was a Surefire combo where it came with a light, and I'm not even sure of the model. I've heard it called a GG, but it was a lot like this knife. It wasn't a Tanto, and it didn't have the serrated spine, but it was pretty gnarly grind, and it was more of a pokey style blade, and it was ATS 34, and it had the old school, the thinner stripes. They almost look red with that ATS 34. It was neat. They had the old SOE gear sheath with it. That was a cool knife. I was way too young to have something that cool. I wish I still had it. That gave that away in the recession of 08, 09. And now they're going for all kinds of money. It's crazy. But this is really something special. If you're not into Strider knives, or you haven't been for as long as I have, it might not be as cool, but it's badass to me. Have a good day, folks.